Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and this is Entrepreneurial Spotlight. Joining me today is Sean Stinson, who is Chief Growth Officer for Blackline Safety based here in Calgary. Thanks, Sean, for joining us today.
Thanks, Mario. It's great to be here.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the company's growth over the years, but let's first start by just telling me a little bit about Blackline, what you guys do, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, for sure. Blackline Safety was started here in Calgary in 2004 by a gentleman named Brendan Cook, who's still in the business. And we design, manufacture, and sell life-saving industrial connected safety products. So these are products you might have seen, even just around town. We have a lot of customers in Alberta. We focused on lone worker safety over the years. So this is keeping people safe, industrial workers who are working outside of sight and sound of others. You typically find this in upstream oil and gas is a really good example. So people who are working in really remote areas of the province, and if something happens to them, if they're overcome by gas, or if they are in a car accident, or if there's, heaven forbid, a heart attack or something like that, our devices are always looking for no motion and falls and gas exposures and things like that, and we can send for help immediately. So the device will send a message back out to our people that work in our safety operations center, and then we can dispatch ambulances. And through that, we've saved lives in all over the world with this technology.
Phenomenal and phenomenal growth by the company over the years. If you could talk a little bit about that. I know that recently you were named one of the fastest growing companies by Deloitte. Can you talk a little bit about the growth and how much the company has grown, and especially in recent years?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a rocket ship.
Officer, right?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a rocket ship. When I started, it was 37 people here. I've been in the company for about 9 years, and it's been just the experience of a lifetime. So we were 37 people. We're just under 500 people today. Wow. And we were really focused on Canada back then, and we've expanded all over the world. And yeah, I mean, I think we've had growth of about, we're probably 30 times larger than we were when I started, just in terms of revenue. So, more great products, we serve more customers in more markets, saving lives like on a regular basis. It's just been an amazing journey.
So I would imagine that growth curve that's, going that way is just going to continue into the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, innovation is in our DNA, and that's a huge reason why we've been so successful. We have a very experienced and solid leadership team, but we also understand how to build a culture here that supports innovation, and that's a key piece of why we've been growing. Is there was just a gap in the market. There was people who needed this type of safety equipment, and we were able to provide it, and we keep bringing new products to market, and we keep growing. And so that's definitely not going to stop. There's a large need out there globally for what we do.
So is the only office in Calgary, or do you have other offices elsewhere?
We have, you're testing me here a little bit. We have our main office is in Calgary. Yeah. So we do all our manufacturing, our design work here. Like, we have a really incredible cross-functional team in Calgary. This is sort of end to end. So, if you're a technology person listening, we do full stack tech design here. We have firmware engineers, software engineers. We have our own SMT line in Calgary here, obviously finance and sales and marketing and all these other functions. And then internationally, we're opening an office in Houston right now. And that's going to help us rent. We've been doing business in the States for years. It's just time to open a bricks and mortar office in Houston. We have a functioning office in Colchester in England, and that has about 60 people that work out of Colchester and Western Europe. And we just opened an office in France earlier this year, and we just opened an office in Dubai. I was just in Dubai last week, actually, and just helping get that office up and running.
I guess that part of that, the growth, the tremendous growth that you've experienced over the years has been that global mindset that you folks have, right?
Yeah, definitely. Going back, I guess, 5 years, maybe 80% of our revenue is probably in Canada 5 years ago. and now it's about 30% in Canada, and that's just been because we've grown so quickly in every other market. I mean, obviously the US, everyone knows that's a huge market. Europe has been a really big market for us. So about 30% of our revenue today is coming from Europe, about 30% from the States, and then 30 in Canada, and then 10% just everywhere else. So we've got people in Brazil and India and in the Asia Pacific region, Middle East. And so those are markets that are really, again, starting to grow. So just, listening to customers around the world has really helped us build a product that works for everyone. And so, when we listen to a customer in India or in the Middle East or in France or in Germany, and take that feedback back into the product line, that just serves everyone well.
When we talk about connected workers, what does that mean?
Yeah, connected workers. So this is it's a little jargony, I guess. This is the bucket of technologies that helps workers become safer and more productive. So you're connecting them in a lot of different ways. We focus on safety right now, but also on things like productivity. So communication technologies, like through our device, people can. We have a push to talk capability. So workers can talk to each other no matter how far apart they are. You'd have to be on opposite sides of the planet, and because everything that we build runs through cellular networks, you can have people talking to each other everywhere. So this idea of connecting workers that are maybe far apart is a piece of that. But really what it comes down to is just any technology that connects a worker back to make them safer or more productive is what we're talking about. And this extends to things like cameras and auto permitting solutions, so that people know that their next element of work might be in a different area and they need to travel to that different area, and here's the tools that you might need. So there's a lot of pieces to that, but it's definitely going to be a very rapidly growing part of the industrial world, because there's a lot of inefficiencies in industrial businesses. Some estimates is over $1 trillion per year in inefficiency in the industrial work market. And so what connected worker strives to do is to make workers more efficient. And that's a way to allow North American businesses to be more competitive, again, in a global scale. So we can add value to our resources here instead of sending them off somewhere else for value add.
Yeah. When you look at what Blackline does out there and in terms of the contribution to the local economy, can you talk a little bit about that, Sean? How does it contribute to the local economy and the impact your products have on some of these local businesses? It's not some, but many of these local businesses.
Yeah. There's a couple different ways to look at this. So, I mean, we like to think here at Blackline that, we have responsibilities to all of our stakeholders, our employees, our customers, our communities, and our investors. So we do try to impact each one of these groups in a positive way. So, locally, we've donated fairly significantly to the local economy here. Calgary Zoo, shelters. We've donated computers and IT equipment to help kids learn. So we try to do that on the community side. Something that's really, I guess, near and dear to my heart is just providing great jobs for people. I think that's a really important way to, give people a sense of meaning in their life. Sometimes it's just simple that, we provide amazing jobs here. I mean, this is an incredible place to work if you're in technology, because we provide this technology that runs end to end. So from a local business standpoint, I think that's really important. We manufacture here in Calgary. That's a pretty rare thing. We have our own SMT manufacturing line here. And that's not something you see in Western Canada very often. To the clients we serve, there's a lot of local energy companies use our product, but also just, places like Coca-Cola and FedEx and Amazon. I mean, we have a lot of customers that are that are not oil and gas based. And so I think, we try to impact our shareholders, through returns in the stock, but, across the board, I mean, we do our best to try to balance all these four groups and make sure that we're serving everybody.
Can you talk a little bit about the local companies that you provide services to?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the best examples really are, from a local standpoint, it'll come back to the energy companies. So this is the most common place you'll see Blackline products in Alberta is in the oil and gas space. And so this is, in exploration, but also in the refining areas. So companies like Husky's been a long-standing customer of Blackline. And this is maybe the kind of best example to use, I think, is, in Alberta. there's a lot of people that are again, outside of sight and sound. They're working in very remote areas in northern Alberta. And if something happens, this could be as simple as a flat tire in the cold, or it could be that they slip on something. I mean, accidents happen. And for those clients that are working in Alberta oil and gas that are working really hard, we're really proud to keep them safe if they need our services.
Yeah. Now, can you talk a little bit about the role of data and analytics in, I guess, developing technology solutions like you folks have developed?
Yeah, this has been one of the most exciting things that I think we've been able to do is, with the connected nature of the products that we build, we have a lot of data comes back into our servers. So we have over 150 billion data points in there, and what we're able to do is start to move towards a proactive view of safety. So this is something that has never been able to be done before. If you work in oil and gas, you understand the concept of a gas detector. So we build connected gas detectors. So if someone is overcome by hydrogen sulfide, or if they're experiencing an explosive gas event where they could be literally blown up, we can provide immediate help to those people. But over time, what we can do is map out where these events are happening on a regular basis. So, now what we've done is we've delivered in a really, really easy to consume form things like maps, and you can scroll through time and you can say, here in this shed, I've had 52 exposures in the past month. Something's up in that shed. I need to fix something. And so now what you can do as a safety manager is to say, I need to put capital into this. I need to spend money on this. That's sometimes a challenge in any safety environment. That's historically been a challenge. And this is in every industry around the world. We see the same thing, that safety people struggle to get investment to fix things. And so they basically ride shotgun beside operations, who really controls the checks in a lot of cases. And safety sometimes struggles to get the money that they know they need to fix things because they don't have quantitative proof. That, in the old fashioned ways of doing things, people have to fill a paper near misses, and nobody does this. So, the automatic data collection that we have, finding these insights automatically using analytics and other things like that, we've been able to deliver back to safety managers this incredible view of what, how often are people using the devices? Are they seeing consistent usage patterns, or is there do they have a person who doesn't maybe understand the risks that they're faced with? And so we've given safety managers the tools to really truly keep their team safe. And that, over the years, I've been in this industry for 20 years, and I've read a lot of fatality reports, people overcome by gas that have died. And one of the most common things that I saw in these was that they just weren't using their safety equipment. They'd put it on the shelf, or they'd turned it off beforehand. And so these are very preventable. So that's a key piece of how we design our product. We try to make it usable. We try to make it reliable. We make sure people trust the equipment. And then we empower the managers to have a conversation if they need to say, hey, I see you're not using this thing. This is really, really important for you to use. And through all those things, we have like incredible, I think, belief. Our customer base really likes what we're doing for them. And that's a pretty amazing feeling at the end of the day. Yeah.
One last thing, Sean, I just wanted to ask about overall in the sector that you're in, you say the technology sector, when you look at things in Calgary and how things have changed, we seem to be getting a bit more momentum in this sector nowadays, right? There's always been talk about diversifying the economy, but it really, really seems to be taking hold these days. How do you guys feel of being part of that shift and that momentum?
Yeah, that's an amazing feeling. I'm actually an electrical engineer by training, so I've been, in the tech sector for a long time, and it's been amazing to see the shift in the past few years here. It really is different than it was before, and I think I think frankly, companies like Amazon Web Services have been a huge part of this. They've brought tools to market that have enabled such revolutionary solutions to take hold. And so a lot of the growth that we see in Calgary, there's a component of web services in this, and Microsoft and Google play into this as well. But It has been amazing to see, and I think it really is. It's something that's going to take hold. I can, the amount of people in tech in Calgary now is very different than it was before, and I think we're approaching a critical mass of talent where even if a company fails, we'll have this incredible effect where people from that company go to other companies, and so we're getting to that point now where it's a little bit like a forest, where if things fall over, that's totally fine because it's gonna make another company stronger, and I think that's how we know that we're starting to get into a really, really healthy tech environment here.
Okay, super. Well, thanks very much, Sean, for joining us today. That was great.
Yeah, thanks, Mario.
All right, super. That was Sean Stinson, who is Chief Growth Officer for Blackline Safety. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and this is Entrepreneurial Spotlight. Thanks for joining us today.